New Mexico is currently in the national entertainment industry spotlight, but for a tragic reason you all know about. It was a week ago we learned that actor Alec Baldwin had accidentally shot and killed a cinematographer on the set of his new film Rust. Shooting at the Bonanza Creek Ranch near Santa Fe, of course. The director was also injured, but he's recovering. In the days since, there's been a lot of reporting on the safety and workplace conditions on sets. And just yesterday, we got an update on the investigation from the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office, among other things. Investigators have established a live round was fired from the prop gun, and criminal charges are still a possibility in this case. Rebecca, we're still waiting to hear if below-the-line film workers also will ratify a new agreement over workplace conditions after a near strike 2 weeks ago. But this tragedy really highlights some of the issues wrapped up in those negotiations. So the question has to be asked, are film sets in New Mexico going to be fundamentally safer? Can they be fundamentally safer? If not, why? Why not?
Well, I think we have to be very careful about making this a New Mexico issue versus making this a film industry standard.
Excellent point.
The film industry absolutely needs to adopt more safety standards because this is the most horrific tragedy. I think where we have to be really careful about is if we make it a New Mexico issue. You know, once the governor gets involved, once the legislature gets involved, we make it if we make it any harder to shoot in New Mexico, are we biting the hand that feeds us? Like, I just feel like, accidents, horrible accidents, this is definitely, someone was negligent here. Mm-hmm. Multiple people appear to have been negligent. I just don't think this can be something that we stand up first and say, well, this is what New Mexico is going to do. I do feel like the governor said, if the film industry doesn't do something, then we will get involved. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I still would say, let's hold off a little bit and see how the industry works it out amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Tom, the idea that we know now that live rounds were all over this set and, would be on a set, this seems unfathomable in so many ways. Investigators are trying to establish, in fact, if those same firearms were used by crew members to target shoot during downtimes. It sounds like they did, from what we're gleaning. What sorts of safety changes can come out of this industry-wide, as Rebecca was saying? Is there anything that the industry can do versus the political side?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of leeway that has been given to the film industry, because a lot of us, we just don't understand what the industry is all about. We, pay our admission to go see the movie. We're entertained, right, and we think it's pretty cool when the stars, come into town and stuff. But as far as the actual how a movie is produced, I think we've all learned a little bit more about the role of an armorer, about the role of cinematographers, and hopefully we should have learned more about it under different circumstances, but now these are the circumstances that we have. And I think that, the industry, it's really on the industry to say, okay, how are we going to fix this? Mm-hmm. How are we going to, make sure that the government doesn't come in, whether it's California, whether it's New Mexico or Georgia, the industry really has to decide how they're going to change things. And if they don't, then that's where we're going to start to see, I'm sure, different states coming up with different standards, of which, as Rebecca had indicated, could have really devastating effects on an industry that generated $525 million, into New Mexico's economy during 2019. Mm-hmm.
And even more last year, by the way. It bumped up to 630 million, last year.
It is a huge industry, and mm-hmm. it's a tremendous tragedy. And unfortunately, because of where it happened, New Mexico and how New Mexico handles this is now under the spotlight. Mm-hmm. So I think that the governor did a good job of deflecting it, of saying, hey, we're going to look to the industry first. So that way the state doesn't take the hit, because this really could have happened anywhere.
Tom, let me stay with you on this. You mentioned the press deal that's up there. It's unbelievable the amount of cameras that were at the Santa Fe Sheriff's Department and also for the district attorney up there to hear them speak. How are we doing on that front? Are we presenting ourselves here in New Mexico well in this international moment that's very stressful and very difficult?
Well, it's very difficult to say what that definition of well is, mm-hmm. Because the subject matter, the sheriff's office, the DA, everybody's going through an investigative process, and so what I like about what I'm seeing is that they're having a regular updates to the media. They're not cutting any side deals. You're not seeing, any investigators or anybody from the sheriff's office kind of leaking information out. The state has been very quiet. Anything that has possibly been leaking out has been leaking out from the cast and crew of the show Rust. So New Mexico as a whole, I'd have to say, is doing as well as it can right now with the media response, just by following, blocking and tackling, taking care of the things, having regular briefings, answering questions directly, letting them know what that process is.
Hey, Eric, we've heard from a lot of people, including recently in a Facebook Live I did with IATSE Local 480 union members, that productions bring in crew from all over and call them local. Are you worried about this situation puts a dark shadow over our local film workforce? I mean, as Rebecca mentioned, the armorer is from out of state. I don't know if the AD is from out of state, but everyone's assuming everyone involved is from New Mexico. Do you see where I'm going here? It's a difficulty. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I haven't heard that there's sort of like, those, the New Mexico crews are a bunch of yahoos. But I want to get back to both what Rebecca and Tom said.
Sure.
Look, we built this industry from scratch with public dollars. Let's be clear about that. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in investment in this industry that we built it from scratch. So I think it's absolutely critical that in addition to supporting the industry, to making sure it's safe, that the workplaces are safe, that it's incumbent on us to say, look, we're going to continue to make New Mexico a really hospitable place for film. And we're going to expect that these folks getting these pretty massive subsidies are adhering to the highest standards for their workforce. And so I actually think it's a missed opportunity for our political leaders to say, well, let's not do anything to scare them off. I mean, because the $200 or $300 million we've invested so far is not worth it. So I actually think this is a moment for not just New Mexico crews, because we've also worked hard to build New Mexico crews. We didn't have enough crews before.
That's right.
We invested a ton of money at CNM and other places to really build out. So we have a reputation now for having some pretty solid crews. So I don't think that's going to spill over onto the individual New Mexicans. I think it's really going to be, honestly, it's about the productions. Are you going to do a better job of making sure that these productions are safe, including folks like Alec Baldwin, who was a producer in this show. So I think he doesn't have personal responsibility. That was not his fault, what happened with the gun, but he is in charge of the whole overall production, and the folks in charge need to do a better job of holding everybody accountable, including who they hire, including how weapons are handled on the set, including like how they vet people. There's a lot of things that went wrong in this particular case.
Good points there. Hey, Rebecca, do you think this death in investigation especially will impact the ratification for that new agreement I mentioned earlier with the below-the-line film workers here? Might this situation put that in jeopardy, possibly?
I'm not intimately familiar with where the negotiations are now and how those workers are. I'm not very familiar with the situation, but I would say that this certainly, this makes their point. If they're concerned, or we've heard about on this particular set about the concern over safety and the corners being cut and how these workers walked off the set because they needed to make their point very clear that they didn't feel it was safe. We all know, you can have, there's that triangle. It can be fast and cheap, but it won't be good. It can be good and fast, but it won't be cheap. So they were trying to make something good. They were trying to make something fast and cheap, and then the standards aren't good. So I think this really kind of plays to that point. We all have to do a better job at protecting. It's this public industry. This is public investment in this industry. We got to protect it, and then really just hear those concerns, and then do whatever we can to help find a good compromise.
Good points there. We'll have more on the fallout from the tragedy on the Rust set on our Facebook page, including a discussion on liabilities and accountability with UNM law professor Sherry Burr. We encourage you to give that a watch if you haven't already.